In a previous lecture, we spoke about some of the mutations. Just let's recall what we have spoken. We told that mutagens causes changes in the DNA that can affect the transcription and replication of the DNA, which in severe cases can lead to the cell death. Powerful mutagens may result in chromosomal instability, causing chromosomal breakages and rearrangement of the chromosomes, such as translocation, deletion, and inversion. And also, we had spoken about some mutagens can cause aneuploidy and they change the number of chromosome in the cell. And also we saw that it's beneficial in the plants. Accumulation of mutations can lead to cancer. We had told that mutation can be beneficial and harmful. Beneficial, so it can lead to the evolutionary change, and sometimes harmful, wherein it can lead to disease condition including cancer. Many mutagens are not mutagenic by themselves but can form mutagenic metabolites through cellular process. Such mutagens are called as promutagens. And also when we talk about cancer, that is mutagens and carcinogens. Carcinogens are the agents that causes cancer. A mutagen is not same as carcinogen. While many mutagens are carcinogens as well. So, with this brief introduction, let us look into further types of mutations. So, one such is the spontaneous mutation. As I said earlier, spontaneous mutation happens naturally and it takes time to see the effect of the mutation. So, spontaneous mutation can be of three types, that is depurination, deamination, and tautomeric shift. So depurination is the most common one, and first let us deal with that. Depurination involves the removal of purine, and you know purine are guanine and adenine. So the removal of this purine from the DNA is known as depurination. There is a covalent bond between the deoxyribose, that is the sugar molecule of the DNA, and the purine bases. But somehow these sugar and the purine, which are bound covalently, are somewhat unstable, and this occasionally undergoes spontaneous reaction with water. When this happens, it releases the sugar, and this phenomenon is termed as apurinic site. Fortunately, such type of depurination can be repaired by our repair mechanism. However, if the repair system fails, a mutation may result during subsequent round of DNA replication. This is an example of depurination. We have the double-stranded DNA, and suppose say that it has undergone a spontaneous mutation wherein you can see the either adenine or the guanine being removed. So we have shown here the example that the guanine has been removed, and this site is known as apurinic site. In the next round of replication, what happens is we shall consider only this strands. Here the 5' 3' strand has no issue, so the replication occurs normally. The problem lies in the 3' 5' strand. So this is the region wherein there is no nucleotide. Under these circumstances, what happens is your polymerase, DNA polymerase enzyme, must and should add something to the opposite strand. So it can add anything. It can be adenine, thymine, guanine. Okay, so there's a 75 percentage of chances of such mutation. Suppose say if it was G year, okay, then what would have been happened? It would have bonded with C. But here the chances are A, T, G and even C. But if it is the other way around, if A and T is added, you can see that the entire change in the next round of the replication. Hope it is clear. Have a view of this slide. So in depurination, we are concerned only about the purine. That is, a purine nucleotide is being removed. Next example, we shall see about deamination. So deamination involves the removal of the amino group from the cytosine base. Why we are giving the example of cytosine is the other bases are not readily deaminated as deaminated as cytosine. So when cytosine reacts with water, there is a removal of this amino group and it is replaced by an oxygen or the O group, and we get the product ammonium. So cytosine, when it is replaced by O from the water, it forms what? It forms an uracil. So you know that cytosine pairs with thymine. Uracil, you don't find it in DNA, but you find it in the RNA, and it binds to, that is, in place of uracil, we have this AT binding. So instead of cytosine binding to guanine, here we end up with the A and T binding. So DNA repair mechanism can recognize uracil as an inappropriate base in the DNA and it can remove it. However, if the repair system fails, instead of C going and binding to the guanine, A goes and binds to the T mutation. Why this A and T we are telling? We are speaking about the DNA and not about the RNA. So your uracil acts like a thymine and then it binds to the adenine. So this is another example. So deamination of 5-methyl cytosine can also occur. So what did we get from cytosine? We have ended up with thymine. Thymine is a normal constituent of the DNA and this poses a problem for the repair mechanism. Because when thymine is there, the repair mechanism will not be able to repair it because already thymine knows it is a constituent of our DNA. We cannot determine which of the two bases on the two DNA strand is incorrect. Okay, here we know that instead of cytosine, it has converted into thymine, but that the repair mechanism will have a confusion because both cytosine and thymine are part of the DNA. For this reason, methylated cytosine bases tend to create hotspots for mutation. That is, it's creating a mutation wherein that mutation cannot be recognized by our repair mechanism. So next we shall see the third one, what we had spoken, that is tautomeric shift. So the tautomer form of the base hydrogen bonds to a incorrect base, and so the base laid down during duplication will be wrong. So what does a tautomeric shift means? It involves a temporary change in the base structure. What are the bases we are talking? It is the nitrogen bases. The common stable form of thymine and guanine is the keto form. So the thymine and guanine, their structure consists of the keto group, and at low rate T and G can interconvert into enol form. So they are actually in the keto form, but sometimes because of the tautomeric shift, they can convert it themselves into enol form. But this occurs at a low rate. The another common example is we have the adenine and cytosine, which are in the amino form. But at the low rate, this adenine and cytosine can convert into imino form. So keto to enol, amino to imino form. So we shall see these example. So these are rare forms promote AC and GT base pair. So a tautomeric shift to cause a mutation, it must occur immediately prior to DNA replication. So before your DNA starts replication, the mutation should have occurred. What type of mutation? Tautomeric shift should have occurred before the replication could occur. Let us see the example. So already we had told what is this? Guanine, and you can see here guanine is a keto form, okay, but sometimes because of this tautomeric shift, it can convert itself into the enol form. This similarly, adenine, which is an amino form, gets converted to the imino form. Thymine, which is a keto, gets converted into enol form, and cytosine, because of the tautomeric shift, it gets converted into iminoform. So guanine, adenine, thymine, cytosine, what we have written on the left side is the common, this is the structure of this basis. But because of a shift, a tautomeric shift, what happens? The ketones are converted into enols and the amino are converted into the imino form, which is a rare form, and this should occur before the replication takes place. So let us see some example of misbase pairing due to tautomeric shift. So you can see that you know that thymine has to bind with adenine. But what has happened here, it has gone and bound with the guanine because this thymine, it is present in the form of enol. And here you can see the cytosine, which has to be present in the amino form, is in the imino form. And hence, the cytosine has gone and bound with adenine. So you can see that there is a mispairing. ATGC is the normal, but here we have ended up with the thymine, guanine, cytosine, and adenine. So this is the base pairing due to tautomeric shift. When the replication after the changes have occurred. Okay, then when the replication happens, this is what the end result we get. We shall take an example for tautomeric shift. So if we consider these two strands, we see that A is paired with T, and now it undergoes replication. When it has undergone replication, this strand is now here the parent strand, and during the daughter strand formation, what has happened? A is gone and paired with cytosine. So you can see there is a mismatch here. A should have been bonded with T, but here it has gone and bonded with C. Okay. Now take this strand, 3 prime, 5 prime. Here it is. Now it is having T, and this, the daughter strand, there is an A. So there is not an issue here. A has paired correctly with the T. Now these again, these two strands will undergo again a second round of replication. Now what happens? Your 5 prime 3 prime is here, the blue one, and its daughter strand is, it has formed a pair with T. Now this is fine, it is correct. Now your 3 prime 5 prime strand is here. Here you can see the mutation, and this is the C is the mutated one, and now it has gone and paired with G. So you can see here how the mutation, it should have actually been here also what T, it had to be T pairing with A, but unfortunately what has happened because of the tautomeric shift, A went and paired with C, and this when now it is acting as a parent strand, it has gone and bounded with G. Whereas here if you see, not an issue, it is correctly bounded. Okay, so the parent strand 5 prime 3 prime, the color, see purple is here, and so you can see it is bounded with P, and this 3 prime 5 prime here it is bounded with A. So this is a example of how tautomeric shift can occur, wherein there is a change. Okay, what did we tell? We told that there will be change from the ketol to enol, amino to imino.